Ta-da, what is happening out there, my friends in YouTube land? Yours truly, Rockin' Dave, the real deal, North Fort Myers, Southwest Florida. Okay, we are we're actually in downtown Fort Myers at a place called the Green Cup. And I'm gonna turn this around so people could see. I know this is on what they call unannounced, but let me just do a little quick here. So we're in the patio area. The weather's absolutely beautiful. Deb and I were here yesterday. I'm gonna turn those chairs right there. That's where we sat yesterday to eat. And they do have people play. Now there's the inside. And kind of swivel this around. That's called a brick wall, in case you didn't know. That's what I should bang my head up against. Joe Winch, what's happening, brother? Happy Thanksgiving. Gobble, 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 gobble day. So I'll go down and walk down a little bit, show you what downtown Fort Myers is kind of like. Anyone from the Chicagoland area, you're going to say, gee, that looks like downtown Naperville on Washington Street, Naperville, Illinois. You'd be correct. But this kind of reminds me of the place I used to play at La Corte Bistro. And of course, they have, if you want to sit out here. Anyways, let me just. So, yeah, this is going to be another place we're going to be securing some gigs. Oh, thank you, Joe. Really appreciate it, brother. Really, really appreciate it. Oh, just to let you know, Joe, these are reading glasses. I'm actually farsighted. Deb's nearsighted. I'm farsighted. And when you did that video on how you were, yeah, right, when you were on your headstock, how you have the ball under the guitar string through the headstock. That's what I do with my locking trims too. I actually got that idea from one of the guitarists in the band Shadow Lord that I was in. It was a metal band, and he used to do that with his. And I thought, oh, that's a great idea because you don't have to cut the ball in and then try to stick it down. Just take the under the string and snip what you don't need, put it in the locking, in the little where the lock is, and then just have it go around the headstock, the tuner on the headstock. So that's what I do on all my, which I think I have 3 guitars with Floyd's on it, something like that. I gotta look. So yeah, probably in January, or maybe if I get something going for next month, because I'm playing this Friday. I'll back out in Pine Island. I might be playing out again down here, but up the road at a wine place Saturday. We'll see. Sunday I might be playing at this girl. She's Bumble Best. What is happening, brother? That's right, Southwest Florida. Sunday I might be playing at her music store. She actually's got a great band. The name of her band is called Cyrene. Her name is Sandra, and for a while she was doing an Evanescence tribute. And she's got a great voice, and great voice. Well, her and her business partner opened up a music store, and where he's a luthier, so he's going to be building guitars, and he happens to be the guitar player in her band, so works out great. So Sunday we'll probably do see if we do a live stream, if not a little bit of video on my Zoom camera with that, and also at the wine place, because I'll be going up there in about maybe a half hour. I'll walk. When I walk, I'll see if I have this face. I'm going to see something real quick. This thing looks like it could turn. Let's see what happens when I hit the camera thing. Does it spin around? Oh yeah, it does. Okay, good. So I'll use that. So as I'm walking down the road, you'll be able to see downtown Fort Myers. And so we got those gigs, and in December, it looks like every Saturday up until Christmas, I'm playing out back in Pine Island. So we've been very fortunate and blessed that the gigs have not ceased, Joe, hey Dave, when you gig live, how many guitars do you normally bring? Usually it's between 2 to 3, depending on what the gig is. If it's gonna be more of like my rock show where I mix everything up like I was doing with Jim Guidry, happy Thanksgiving, brother. What is happening? Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope all is well, brother. Yeah, when I'm doing like especially when I was playing with Mike and we're doing more the rock shows, it would be the Ibanez, sometimes the two Ibanez. Well, I think one time I brought two Ibanez, the Les Paul, the lawsuit guitar, and the two acoustics because we're doing the flamenco type, and we were doing like 3 or 4 hours, you know. But it depends on the venue that I'm playing at. When we were doing these Christmas shows at the Warehouse Church, which was in downtown Aurora, Illinois, you know, it was a guitar Christmas show. So I think the most I brought out was 10 guitars, and we had it in a semicircle. And then we had our lights. We were trying our fog machine, but the building had an older smoke detector and alarm system. So even if any type of a vape would set off the alarm systems. So that's why we couldn't really couldn't do anything with that. But you know, depending on the show, we try to bring out as less gear as possible because, you know, at the end of the night, you're done playing and you got to pack everything up and it becomes very, you're tired, you know? So, but I thought because I'm going to come down here, I thought, you know what, let me do the live stream a little different. And since we were here yesterday and I didn't get any pictures of this place, I thought, man, this is really cool. But you see, and what this place is, it's called the Green Cup. It's downtown Fort Myers on Dean Street. So if anyone comes down to Fort Myers area, this is the patio, and it's absolutely beautiful. You know, so if anyone comes down here, it's a coffee shop. It has teas, and they have a lot of vegan food, and you know. I didn't think I'd be into anything like that, but I tried yesterday one of the it was like a burrito wrap, and I'll tell you what, guys, I was surprised because you know I'm old school. I could pronounce hamburgers, hot dogs, spaghetti, and that's it, right? Show now how to get a real deal today. Yeah, how about it? Oh, I love coffee shops. Yeah, Buckles. I love them too, man. You know, Kitty Corner is a place called City Tavern, and they have bands there and that. And Deb and I, we ate there a few weeks back. Maybe it was a few months, maybe it was a few years. You know, with the COVID lockdown, every day was like the day before tomorrow and the day after yesterday. It was like we were frozen in time. But they got the okay to reopen, and we ate there, and they got good food and that. Um, but you know, the bar bands have their own niche, and you know, God bless them. They keep a lot of the cover music alive. Now, I don't know if you could hear the overhead music. This is more creative jazz fusion, maybe, you know, anything creative. And if you want to come in and do rock music and that, you could still do it. But places like this gives you the atmosphere of being creative, and that's what's so cool about these places. You know, so if you're a creative musician, you come in, you do your thing, and it's places like this are you're going to get more of a crowd where people come in and they're there for the music. So they're there to respect the musicianship, and you don't have to be a virtuoso or anything like that. Um, but they truly are there for the music. Whereas the bar, you know, it's get a few drinks in them and yell out Freebird or Slayer. And then if the girl walks by with the skirt that is like this big, you know, from the belly button, and that's about as far as it goes, from the belly button down, then, you know, he forgets all about all your hard work playing. You know what I mean? It's just how the bar scene is. But I'm not trying to knock it. Just have. So how many gigs do you have for the rest of the year? Let's see, Joe. I think I have. Uh, God, I think I've got eight. 8 of them coming up. Yeah, something like that. Which is amazing because there are some musicians and some bands that are playing down here, and there are some that aren't. And I think what also helps is that we try to work with people's budgets. We don't want to do price gouging or anything like that because there's a lot of people that they're having a hard time staying afloat. You know, I'd love to play at a location like that. A lot better than, yeah, the blind. Yeah, that place was wild. We need to see, you know, now the Blind Tiger. That sounds like a place that was that in South Carolina, Joe, or by you, or was that in like Louisiana? You know, when we were doing our road shows, we started looking into contacting a lot of the places in between towns that we were traveling, and but you have to do everything so far in advance with the bookings, and then the one place it was going to be in New Mexico we were going to play at, and I can't remember exactly what happened, but something happened, you know. And then you get new ownerships, they take over, and they're like, okay, well, they're not going to do that anymore. Oh, so I better eat this before it melts. Got one of these things, whatever they are. Pretty good. I'm not really big on chocolate. If it's bad chocolate, I can't, man, messes with my stomach. So places like this, like I said, they're more open to musicianship rather than popularity. And of course, they want to sell their products, so yeah, if you bring people in. But back in Chicago, there was a few coffee houses we would play at, and some of these people, like the younger kids, they would actually come in and bring outside food into the coffee shop, and the coffee shop is trying to sell their product. And I remember there was a guy he was doing bookings there, and then he was hosting an open mic, and then he couldn't make one of the open mics or whatever it was. So the owner says to me and Deb, "Hey, would you guys mind hosting it for the next coming weekend?" Well, it just so happened we had that weekend open. We says, "Yeah, okay, no problem." And there's a difference between experience versus non-experience. And I'm not saying anything bad about the kid, but he he was so in tune to trying to just please his friends and not understanding that, you know, when someone is going to give you an opportunity in their restaurant to do something, or their club, whatever the case, you got to kind of be in tune to that person that is owning the place that's giving you the opportunity. So the owner was shocked at how we were pushing her products. You know, we weren't pushing on people, but we were making our announcements, and you know, we would ask her what today's specials, and we would announce the special. And she says the other guy doesn't even do that. I said, well, see, that's too bad, because you know, you got to work together. And then he heard word that that's what I was doing, and he hit the panic button. He thought we were gonna take his gig. I says, dude, I'm not taking your gig. She just offered it for me because you were busy and we had it open. So, you know, and then eventually that place closed because he was promising these bands that would come through, they were regional touring. So they were not coming from afar. So they would just come from maybe 2 states over. But he would make all these promises and not even check with the owner. And I told him one time, I said, unless you see what's coming in the cash register, you can't make promises to these people. Well, what happened? Some of the bands and musicians didn't get nowhere near where he promised. They got mad and he started smashing the place. And eventually she went out of business. You can't do that. So let me see if I got it. I thought the shutdown. You know, Bumble Best, you know what they did? They in the beginning, they were doing a little bit of shutdown. See, we're in the Gulf Coast area, so we're south of Tampa. We're south of Sarasota. And down here, um, it's it's a little bit different down here because it's very, especially in this area, very heavily senior citizen populated. So you would think, okay, you got people that are elderly, so it's not like that because you have a lot of people that they're real strong. They bond together, and if they're not feeling sick, you're not gonna shut us down. And the governor down here, he said, we're not gonna shut down Florida if we don't have to. He recommends people do, take precaution, but we're not gonna shut down because shutting down does more damage than anything else. And I don't want to get anything political or anything like that. But there's a lot of people that said, hey man, our businesses, besides it being heavily senior citizen populated, it's a tourist. So it's filled with restaurants, tour spots. It's not like there's a whole bunch of factories. It's not like back up in Chicago, in the Chicagoland area. We had all the factories. We had all the, an industrial state. It's not like that down here. You have a lot of fishermen down here. There's a lot of restaurants. I don't eat fish. My friend said, why did you move to a state that's predominantly surrounded by water and has fish? I said, well, they have other food down here. They do have a lot of farms down here as well, which I was shocked. When we were driving down some of the areas down here when we first got down here, I said to Deb, this reminds me of Texas, or when we were crossing, in the Midwest, crossing through Nebraska and all that, and you see all the farms with the cattle. They got a lot of cattle farms down here and horse farms. It's incredible. As a matter of fact, I heard a lady talking on the news radio, and I forget what part of Florida, maybe a little northeast from us, but she said that they raise horses and they supply horses for Kentucky Derby. They are the number one area, I guess, in the nation. And she had mentioned something else with the agriculture, that number one in worldwide. So, I didn't know that. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, in Louisiana. Okay. Now Deb's I've never been to Louisiana. We did a lot of these road shows. I'll tell you, the states we played at the most was Texas. Did a lot of gigs in Texas. And then we started branching out. And then, of course, Indiana and Wisconsin. And then we started doing a lot in St. Louis, Missouri. And then we started doing some in Tennessee. And then we started doing, before we got down here, we started hitting Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, which was a great experience. And then Canada, we did a couple up in Canada, down in Mexico, and then over in Europe. We were in Europe twice, once in Ireland and then once in Belgium for the NATO gig, which that was pretty much planned out in advance. So that was, I want to shake the table, which is something that I want to touch base on. Nothing like some good, yeah, it is good chocolate, man. So yeah, I'm not a fish fan. Yeah, neither. I think what happened with me, Joe, I had the Filet-O-Fish back in high school. I got sick as a dog, and it was a truth guitar method. What is happening, brother? And yes, your name is Joe, son of Caesar. I like that. Oh yeah, Jim Gidry says Louisiana sucks. Yeah, Jim, it's isn't it sad what has happened? Oh, an early so you live on flower causes yeah, and the Ordrove it does. See, where you get a lot of the early frost down here, Buckluster, is like in the Jacksonville, further north by the Panhandle, and then it does start to make its way down here. So far, the coldest I've seen it down here in this area was hovering, if I'm not mistaken, between 49 and 50 degrees. And then it was usually as soon as that sun comes up, man, it starts warming up pretty quick. Which honestly, it takes a while to get used to, because if you come from an area where you're used to 4 seasons, and then you move to an area where it's really 2 seasons, meaning hot and hotter, it's weird. But our first year down here on Thanksgiving, I didn't even know it was Thanksgiving, because look, it seems like it's always June, July, and August, you know. And I had to look at the calendar, and then I realized people are putting up Christmas, decorations, and then the Halloween. Usually that's the first clue, is the Halloween decorations. It's like, oh crap, you know. But there'd be times back in the Chicagoland area in October we'd get what we call Indian summer, and it'd be nice and warm, you know. And then after that, it just peters down, But down here, it is definitely different. It's a different mindset too. And it's different if you're going to do anything like working on, your landscaping, because the ground is soft. You go to, like when I got to pull weeds back up in Illinois, you're yanking on them. It's like down here, you go to yank on it, you fall right on your ass because the ground is soft. Oh yeah, you're welcome, Truth Guitar Method. Absolutely. Hot and hotter. Yeah, that's exactly how it is, Bumble Best. I don't know how I survived the first summer down here, man, because usually I don't take the hot weather too good, man. But maybe it was just the excitement being somewhere new, because after 54 years of my life in the same area, other than the traveling, it's not like it's different. When you move and you live somewhere different, it is different. The mindset's also different. See, I'll never forget. We got down here, I think it was on a Wednesday. And that Saturday, we were gigging. It was weird. It was bizarre. Because I'm so used to back up in Chicago, you got to keep going back and forth if you want to do a bar gig. And then you wait, and they don't call you, you call back, and they yank your Peter and everything else. You're chasing gigs. Down here, we went to this place. It was called Orioles. Like the Orioles baseball team. We go in there. Lady, her name was Rose, and we're talking with her. And I thought, well, maybe next month or 3 months from now. She said, well, I'm open up this Saturday if you want to come in and play this Saturday. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And right after that, from that Saturday on, that whole year, first year was 150 gigs we did. And the people down here, they were like hitting a panic button, some of them, because they thought we were going to take over all their gigs, and we weren't. See, some of the people, they don't understand that when you come from a busy area, big metropolitan area, you have to hustle. So that's part of your DNA. You're always hustling. So, I just said, no, we're not trying to take over or anything like that. We just, we're just so used to that mindset, always running. So, but I'll tell you what is nice with down here, it is more of a laid back mindset. So you don't have to feel like, you got to kill yourself all the time. That's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. So, but yeah, I love it. And we haven't been back since. So let's see, we got anything else going on? Yeah. So I'm going to just finish this real quick, and then we'll take a little walk. Now I know I could spin this thing. Some of this technology, man, is just, I'm still getting used to it, But I think even Joe Wentz and both Joe and Jim Guidry had mentioned about in the area like South Carolina and in Louisiana, there was a time when there was a lot of places for musicians to play, and it just part of what happened was when the housing market crashed. And Mike, my vocalist that we're doing RUI with down here, he said the housing market, when it crashed down here, it almost killed Florida's economy. It was really hard. But they were able to bounce back because of the cruise line, the cruise ships, Disney, and some of the other areas that if you're not into cruising if you're not into going to Disney, you know, you got the Everglades down here. There's certain things that attracts people down here. So that was able to bounce back, but it didn't bounce back like like it should have. Oh yeah, we'll talk soon, Jim. Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving. You and Gracie and Alex stay safe, brother. And happy Gobble Gobble Day. You know, we got a lot to be thankful for. You know, we're just, I can't say when we were over in Europe or Mexico or I cannot, you know, they always try to show you the tourist areas, you know, but I do know, I do know that one thing I noticed when we were in Ireland, um, let's see, I forget what part. I think it could have been Killarney. Yeah, it was Killarney because it was by the pub that we played at. There was an old castle ruin, and we were in one of the other pubs, and we were with a lot of our friends and with the whole team, so it was safe. So I wanted to get some pictures, some nighttime pictures of this castle ruin. And it was so weird. It'd be like, okay, for instance, this is what a castle ruin would be. Like, see right there? That would be part of the castle ruin. You'd walk down the street, there'd be a couple of houses next to it, and boom, there's an old castle ruin. So, and actually, it was literally right around the corner from the pub we were at. Yeah. Thankful for everyone's generic. Hey, let me tell you something about this one, Bucklister. You get a lot of these older guys down here. They drive around their Maseratis, their Ferraris, their Porsches, their Bentleys. I mean, these people got some serious money down here. So they're like, I don't know, between 72 and 80 years old. And they drive around, and I've seen some of them blasting hip hop music. And I'm thinking to myself, some of them I know for a fact they don't like that. But where do they go to? The bar. They're trying to pick up the 20-something-year-old waitress that's got the like Leave It to Beaver, except it's called Leave It to Cleavage, right? So they go to the bar. They're trying to pick up these young girls, man. They're all jacked up on Viagra, man. I'm like, dude, you can give yourself a heart attack. So, but anyways, um, I forgot where I was at now. See, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, it is a trip. It's definitely a trip. That part of it is a trip. But yeah, when the housing market crashed, it almost destroyed the economy. And then a lot of it bounced back, but not 100%. You know, that's what a lot of people tell me. But when I tell them the other bands how hard it would be sometimes to get the gig back up in Chicago, they're like, "You got to be kidding!" I says, "Oh no." I said, "They'll twist your arm and everything else." But it's real sad what has happened with the music scene in a lot of places, you know. And there's a multitude of reasons why this took place. You know, the smoking ban that killed everything, the DUI laws killed it, where people would go out. Um, then because of that, it snowballed where the clubs could not afford to pay musicians. And there was always this thing with the copyright infringement, but it was not as enforced as it is now, because it's the reason part of the reason why it's so enforced is that people have been downloading stuff for free and everyone's losing money, and there's hardly any record stores anymore, you know. So the artists can't sell their product anymore because everyone's getting it for free. You know, and some of these recording studios, man, you're talking some of them downtown Chicago. We had this one on Rush Street. It was like $250 an hour, and that was back in the late '80s, early 1980s. $250 per hour. And who's going to pay that much money now? And I'll tell you who will pay some good bucks: voiceovers. So if anyone's listening out there, and you got a recording studio, or you want to get into this, even as a little bit of side job or whatever, do not neglect the colleges or the companies that have training videos. I'm gonna explain something. A friend of mine had a recording studio in Montgomery, Illinois, and he was always involved in the bands, like a lot of people. We're all involved in the bands, the local music scene. So he tells me, he says, Dave, because of all the smoking ban, the DUIs, and then the clubs can't pay bands, and then they let the DJs come in. This was another thing I was getting into. The DJs, they come in, they take over. And unless you got a really good personality, which they have to have, they're not creating music, they're playing music, they're pushing buttons. Minus having a good personality. You gotta have a good personality, right? But he tells me I can't make money off of, he spent all this money. He spent like $10,000 alone on just one computer rack. And he tells me, Dave, there's GE, General Electric. They want to book some studio time for voiceovers. I never done that. What do you think? I told him, his name was Jeff. I said, Jeff, go for it. I said, because I'm going to tell you right now, I went to trade school. And we had to watch these videos and whether they're going to have music playing or voiceover. I said, if they're going to have voiceover, then they're going to pay because they have the money to pay. So I said, I know it's different, but these are companies that are guaranteed that you'll get your money, and then you can still book studio time for bands. And he did, and he said, yeah, they paid 100% his asking price, and they had no problem. They paid him full. I said, see? Another situation, we had another friend of ours, downtown Aurora, Illinois. He had a studio, and what he wanted to do was to have either a building erected or remodel an existing building. And he wanted to have it where it was 24 hours music, lessons, a recording studio, a coffee shop, 2 stages, a bigger stage and then a smaller stage. Nothing but music. And he had a big meeting at his studio downtown Aurora. He got the city involved, and then he got some investors involved, and they thought, okay, this being, is downtown Aurora going to be another hotspot? So in this whole process, he had a drawing of what the building was going to look like, and he had a pretty nice size studio, and in different sections he had these different rooms, and he would break all of us off into different groups. And the group that I was with, we were sitting in this room and we were talking, and oh, great Vanzini, happy gobble gobble day, my friend. I hope all is well with you. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm at this place called the Green Cup Coffee House, downtown Fort Myers, and look how nice it is. I've just talked with one of the owners about getting some gigs here, and they were really polite, and I told them that I stream, and they said, oh, that'd be great, because it spotlights their facility. So, and they did, they gave me the permission, and I thanked them for that. So getting back to the story about a friend of mine at the recording studio, we're in this group, and I'm telling the people in the group, I said, listen, I also teach, and some of my students, their siblings are involved in theater and dance. So if you cannot secure 7 days a week a booking with a performance from a band, or have a band book a recording session, and you're just relying on lessons, and that's not enough to keep things afloat, I said, there's 2 things you could approach. One is, in the recording studio, offer any type of a college or any type of a business services to do voiceovers, because they're going to have training videos. Well, they had to think about that one. I says, trust me, any Anytime you go to any type of a trade school, you're gonna have to watch these videos, and you need voiceovers. You need to manufacture them. And so you could even contact the DMV, because when you go to get your CDL license, you got to watch these videos. I said, and these are companies that have money, so they're going to pay. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. And then I said, now for vacancy, when you have days that are stagnant and you got no action going on, you got these stages. I said, some of my students, their siblings are involved in dance and theater. So they're looking for places where they could rehearse, and they're involved in a club. You have like your dance club or your theater club, and they'll charge, to join the club. So you perform in that, but they're looking for places so they could rehearse. As soon as I said that, they were so negative about it. Oh no, I don't want to see someone hack up a dance or this or that, some little kid. I said, you don't understand. I said, you go to these functions and these places are packed. So when you have downtime and you just spend X amount of dollars to renovate a building, and then you got to pay all that overhead, you got to pay to get it renovated, you got to pay for your permits and everything. Where's this money going to come from? It's not going to come from local bands. So you got to think a little bit outside the box. Then this way you'll still be able to have your areas where you can have local bands playing, and you'll still be able to support the music scene, the local music scene. They didn't want to budge, and the project never got off and going. And then eventually, my friend from Aurora, him and his wife moved to Boston. So, it's looking at things from a realistic point of view. At some point, you have to, because when you start draining your savings, you put yourself in a bad situation. And now, if you start owing people money, they're going to be coming after you. Legally, they'll come after you. So, I don't know. Just yesterday, after we ate here, Deb and I went walking around, or actually before we came here to eat. There is a building on the waterfront. I think it was the tour center, but it's all boarded up. It looked like they're gonna do some renovation in there, because it's all tore up, but you can still see where there was a stage in that. And I'm told Deb, I said, I hope they don't tear this building down, because if they want to have performances, that's one thing. But these groups, especially when you have any type of gymnastics, a dance team, a play, when you have large groups, they got to rehearse. So where they going to rehearse? They need a big place, and if, to join these types of clubs, it costs X amount of dollars, and if they have the money to rent a place, okay, but now they need the place to rent. So every time I've mentioned to people in the music industry about this, they always shoot me down, and I'm thinking, why do you want to shoot something down that's a for sure thing? You need money. You need to keep the business afloat. Otherwise, then they get this wacky idea, they quit their jobs or they shut down their business. Dan, what is happening, my friend? I really appreciate you tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving. And if you're wondering where I'm at a place called the Green Cup Coffee Shop, downtown Fort Myers. And it's absolutely beautiful. So we're going to be securing some gigs. I have to look at my calendar, because I know I'm booked through the whole month. Next month, I'm all booked up. Got to find some time. So tentatively, we could shoot for January. And the people here are really nice. And I did tell them about streaming, and they says, oh, no, that's fine. You could go ahead. They gave me the okay. And I tell them, because it helps spotlight their facility, because I got friends from Chicago. When they come down, they want to see places, And when they see that I'm actually there and I'm spotlighting it and I'm giving it, hey, this is a good place, they'll trust my judgment, because they'll come down to visit us. And now they know where they're going to go, instead of just blindly wandering around, But yeah, so it's interesting. And I know Tim Pierce, if you ever follow Tim Pierce, He had a video. He's out in California. Now he went out. I guess he grew up in Arizona and then he moved to California. And when I graduated high school in 1981, I was going to go to music college. I was going to go either to Berkeley, and then I got the bright idea to go to GIT, Guitar Institute, out in California. I got all the information I needed to look everything up and do the research. And of course, it was all done by mail. There was no internet or anything like that. And the only thing that stopped me from going is my grandfather. He said, look, you already know how to play, but if you don't get a grant, if you don't get a scholarship, this, that, and the other, if you have to take a loan, you got to pay that loan back. And he said, look at the job placement, the demand for guitar players. Take a good look, but then look at what you're going to be paying. And being street smart, because that's all I ever knew, I started putting two together, and all the clubs in Chicago, and I was able to sit in the blues clubs and this, that, and the other, and these other small places. I'm like, these people don't care if what I say I know. They're going to judge me by my performance. And I'm not saying it in a bad way, but I'm saying it in reality. So I started thinking about what he was telling me about. Be very careful. Even though when you're young, you got time on your side, you go back to school, this, that, and the other. But if you're stuck with a high loan, you got a college loan or whatever that you got to pay back. I don't know, man. It doesn't add up. So that's why I didn't. But Tim Pierce was in California, and he was at the right place in the right time. But in his video, he also was talking about his chiropractor, because Tim might be my age, maybe older, I don't know. But he's talking about his chiropractor, who is a guitarist. And I don't know if he collects guitars, but he's a really good guitar player. And Tim made this, he's the only other person that I see make this comment about if you have a side business or a day job or a career, you're doing good. Now, Tim said he wanted to be a professional musician, and we all did back then. It was a totally different time back in the 80s, 70s and 80s, total different time. And I'm glad that Tim said what he said, because there's a lot of people get this idea, and this actually happened with one of my friends back in Chicago. He saw all the gigs that we were doing as a soloist and as an instrumentalist, and so he wanted to do that, and he's a very good guitarist. I think he met this agent by doing a talent show or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. Well, this agent approached him, and she had all the connections. She was able to drop names and all this, that, and the other, but everything was like years in past tense. So here's red flag number one. When it goes back more than 3 or 5 years, I don't care what name a person drops. What are they doing now with a few months? I mean, minus COVID. Because this guy was getting ready to walk away from his job. He vowed, I think he took a loan out for $3,000 because he didn't want to dip into his savings for whatever reason. He gives this lady $3,000 to get the ball rolling, and she gets the ball started. Then next thing you know, she's changing her mind, knowing that my friend was a soloist, an instrumental soloist, and she was very much happy what on his performance. So he takes the money out, gives her the money. About a week later, or some whatever it was, that's when she said, "Oh, you got to sing and you got to get a band." So he goes through all this trouble, but he was smart. He went to the college, so he got a lot of college kids, college students that are serious, not gonna waste time. They were excited. Then she said she needs an additional $1,500. I told him, I said, "Could you see a pattern here?" He said, "Yeah." And finally, he put a stop to it and was taking him to court, taking this lady to court, and then she bailed out. She bailed out on him. Um, Everything does take time, but at the same time, you cannot um, always believe everything. And it's a very hard thing to say because it almost sounds like, I'm bashing these people. I'm not. I don't want to see good people lose their home or lose their savings, you know. And I've seen it. You could have that everywhere. So, getting back to Tim Pierce. Now, if you don't know Tim Pierce's background, the very first Bon Jovi album, that single, Runaway, that's Tim Pierce laying down that guitar solo on the song Runaway. And, being in that area and with all those connections, and it was a hotbed. And it worked out for him, and he was smart. He was smart with his money. That's why he's able to do what he's doing today. A lot of people are not real smart with their money. They think the party's never going to end, and when the party ends, they're in big time trouble. And that's the sad thing. So, for people out there who get the idea of quitting their job or walking away from their business to pursue something, just remember, in any type of business, you want to keep your solid source of income at least for a year, if not longer, to float your business that you're going to open up, because your first few years being in business, that money's got to go right back to the company to keep it going. Now Deb is a lot more smarter on this than me and a lot more experienced. But when we had our heating air conditioning company, I'll tell you what, that taught me a lot right there, man. And the thing that crashed and burned on that was the housing market. And we were doing all these custom homes back in the Aurora, Naperville area, Bolingbrook area, Batavia, Elgin. I mean, and these homes were selling between $500,000 to $1 and $2 million. So, we were making some serious money, but we were not spending it on ridiculous overhead, fleets of trucks that we didn't need, because we wanted to have control. Because I worked for a company that the guy would pay any of his workers above union scale, and it was good. It was good money, but he was trying to grab all these builders. And what happened with him is he had far more work than he had the manpower to do the work, and he was getting in over his head. And when these houses would have to go for a final inspection, he wasn't ready. He didn't have the projects finished. And now here comes the builders with their lawyers. Because if the house was not a spec house, if it was already sold, these people want to move in, man. And it was really something to see. So, anyways, what we're going to do here, guys, is we are going to take a little walk downtown Fort Myers because I got to get to this wine place. So, let's see if I do this. Hi, how are you? So, yeah, this is what the Green Cup looks like. And there's other businesses in here. And so, let's see if I could do this. I could flip this around. Yeah. So, again, this is the facility. I don't want to turn this to people. I know sometimes people get motion sickness. So if I were to do the performance here, I guess I could set up here because there's an outlet. And then I could have the speaker and the sound shooting that way. Okay. So let's go ahead and show you what some. Let me see if I can fix this thing. I just got this recently and it's like a pain in the ass, like everything else is a pain in the ass. So, have a good day now. You too. Thank you. So here we go. Now this is called Dean Street. So that building right there is new. That's part of the Luminary Hotel. And so yeah, here is the Green Cup. Okay, so let me take a walk. I hope this is not boring anybody, because but I figured it's kind of cool. You know, you come down, they got all kind of little shops, but some places they don't want you going in with cameras, especially if it's anything artistic. I better talk over this, because you know this will get taken down. You know what I mean? So, you got some bird trying to fly away. So, with the cobblestone, if anyone is familiar with, well, no matter where you're from, you might have towns, you know, your downtown area set up like this. But this right here, especially this, reminds me a little bit of downtown Naperville, Illinois, Washington Street. So if I get like right here, this reminds me like big time of it. So I'll walk down just a little bit, and I'm gonna cross the street and come up I'll actually go down there too. So this is downtown Fort Myers, and this is Ford's Garage, another restaurant. We got a lot of restaurants down here. You know, it's one thing down here, you won't go hungry. A lot of places are kind of like they got a little bit of old Spanish vibe, because probably next summer we'll do this. We're gonna go up to St. Augustine in the Florida area. So here's Capone's restaurant. So if you can see that. And there's like a little French Quarters, you know. A lot of that is the backside of some of these restaurants and clubs. Okay, but this whole area, like right here, so much like I said, downtown Naperville. Unfortunately, I won't go all the way down, but you see what I mean? Like this building structure right here with the arches and the windows and the balcony, it has that old Spanish vibe, because when we do go over there, I'll do videos, but I won't stream it live when we go there, because and we don't know exactly what date. We're real cautious about doing certain things, because you know, when you leave your house, you're kind of like a marked target. Okay, so let me cross the street over here. Come on, man. Last thing you need is be streaming live and I get ran over. So we have, there's a place here I want to see. They have like a live jazz session, jazz, jam, blues. I'll tell you what's nice with jazz fusion music. You could come in, you could rock out, and it's accepted. It's not like it used to be, you know? So I thought they had it here. Maybe they got it on, yeah, it's right here. That's on Wednesdays. Yeah. And then, so, yeah, it's good to see that a lot of places are still, you know, trying to remain open and that. Because a lot of this is just, it's killed a lot of businesses. My friends back up in Chicago, oh man. And I know there's a lot of places, like in some of the areas you guys are at, you can't do anything. Oh yeah, thanks, Great Vanzini. Yeah, that's what's so nice about down here, man. I see, look at that. You got that nice Spanish ambience. Okay. So, no, I'm not gonna lie. It's a good thing I remember exactly where I'm parked. I don't know if that's ever happened to you. You get caught in a moment and you're like, oh crap, where did I park my car? Okay, so here we go. See, it's just, if there's anyone that watches this later, back in Naperville, Illinois, Washington Street, that's what this reminds me of. Except it's like, Deb and I moved down here and we brought that part with us. Okay, so here we have like the town square, Patio de Leon. And how about that, huh? So you got all these little shops, but see, like I said, a lot of them, you'd have to ask the permission to walk in there with a camera. And, oh, here's another place here, Space 39. A friend of mine was telling me about that they'll have jam sessions and all that. Which I don't know what happened to him. He took off somewhere. Let's see. I can't see what it says. The funkiest, most soulful jam in Salvador. Let's see, oh, every Thursday. See, when I used to do graphic arts in high school, I'll never forget what my instructor told me. Make it legible so when you walk up, you instantly know when and what time. Not you got to read through all this. Too much information, you can't determine what the hell's going on. And especially if you're driving down and they got these signs and you can't figure out what the hell the name of the place is or what's going on, and you're driving at 70 miles an hour, how are you supposed to know, what's the hell's going on? Anyways, so here is like our town square down here, Fort Myers, which is great, man. I wish a lot of you guys could come down here, man. You'd love it down here. But you know what? I remember when we came down to visit and we weren't ready to come down yet. We were not going to make that move for like another 10 years. And it just so happened that the opportunity sprung up. Okay, now this is cool. Because I got to make my way over to this winery. But see.
We ain't open yet.
Oh, you're not open yet?
No.
What time you guys open?
5.
At 5 o'clock? All right, my friend. Awesome.
5.
All right, no, not a problem, brother. Not a problem. I always want to show respect for clients because a lot of these people, sometimes people come in and they'll just wander around, and they'll be a little bit on the disrespectful side, and that's not cool. You can't do that. And that's how you start getting good relationships with these people, when you show a little respect, and then they start seeing, oh man, this guy's cool. He understands. Now they'll have bands out here, but I don't know if you could see. It's on a little bit of an incline. So when you're standing on here, be careful how you move around, man. Because it's really not all that sturdy. You could fall right through that plank wood. Anyways, I hope this isn't boring anybody. But you get a little chance to see, and this is 10 minutes from our house. This is Fort Myers. We live in North Fort Myers. There's a bridge that separates us from the Caloochee River. We just drive over that river, and boom, here we are. So, now this is a place, Indigo Room, yeah. The girl that works at Guitar Center, her name's Raquel. She used to do the open jam, but now, oh, yeah, that was a cool, yeah. Well, yeah, thanks. I really appreciate that. And then they'll have music here too. A lot of times, sorry. See, a lot of times they'll have like DJs and that. So, a lot of times it's like old time, Some of these places remind me of a place in Fort Worth, Texas. You had Billy Bob's, and part of Billy Bob's in Fort Worth is huge. But there was these other small little areas that was in that vicinity that you'd have that high ceiling, and you'd see the truss rod, Okay. Yeah, Sonia, what's happening? Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for tuning in. I figure I'd show a little bit of what we have down here. I have to make my way over and talk with this. It's called the wine room. Now I'll walk up to it, and then that's when I'm gonna have to shut the live stream down because I have to talk with Sarah because we're tentatively setting up a gig for this Saturday, and you know, I want to show her some respect. But yeah, these are the areas. And before the COVID, man, it'd be happening down here, man. And when Mike got married to Lana, Mike, our vocalist, we ate at this pizza place around the corner. He's very simple, and that's what I like about him. He doesn't want to go too fancy or anything like that. And that was a great time, man. And you know, you have a lot of college students down here, and you know, a lot of the young folks, I'll tell you what, they're all really nice down here. And even though they'll see, if you get older, you start graying, they don't, maybe it's just the way it is down here. They don't pull rank or anything like that. They'll show respect, and, you know, that reminds me of a little area when we were in San Juan, Puerto Rico. We were on the cruise. This was, I can't remember, but the CD that we released called Uno. Some of the recording was done on our little Korg digital recorder on the cruise ship when we pulled up to port in San Juan. And then, you know, of course, I took all the pictures. And those pictures that's on the cover of that CD is from the fort, like a Spanish fort over there in San Juan. So when we go to St. Augustine, we'll definitely be doing the same thing. So if you get into any drawing or any type art like that, yeah, see? That's Capone's. That place right there, that's Capone's. My great-grandmother used to work with Al Capone at his place downtown Chicago. It was called the White House, hotel restaurant. And my great grandmother, being from Ireland, was one of the cooks, and Capone used to always ask for Irish. And my great grandmother used to say, you know, call him Capone, and he was always just really, real nice to her and to a lot of people. But you know how that is. Anyways, walking right into the sun, blinding you. So yeah, see, you get people with their hot rods and their classic cars, man. Now it's the kids are grown, they're retired, it's their turn. Okay, so we're gonna pass by this place. I won't go in, but this place coming up here was a different type of a coffee house. Now it's called Seed and Bean, and they have the CDB or whatever the hell that is. I call it weed, man. That's what I call it. It's not really weed, but you know what I mean. The weed extract. They used to have performers here too, but this place changed. See? Got hemp beers and all kind of stuff. See? This used to be illegal. Now it's legal. So, but anyways, part of the Indigo. Let's see if I could do this, guys, without. Yeah. There it is. Okay, so we're almost at my destination. But that's how, you know how it is down here. You know, every town and every state has places like this. Yeah, look at this guy with this vet. Okay. So I hope the sham. I love it. Crap. Okay, my friends, we're almost at my destination, the wine room. So I'll, because I have to talk with her name is Sarah, so she might already be in there, but this is the place we're gonna be. And they have a separate room, they do wine tasting, and that's so, it's, you could see in there a little bit. And if we do the performance here, and she gives me the okay on Saturday, I'll see if I can either live stream. If I can't live stream, then what I'll do, I will definitely record it with the Zoom camera. So my friends, I really appreciate you tuning in. I know this, I don't have the guitar with me. I actually was gonna bring it. You ain't gonna believe this, I actually forgot to bring it because I was gonna do an audition. But I got enough material that's on my phone that I could actually show her, she gets an idea. But anyways, my friends, I hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving, a safe Thanksgiving, and we will be posting up videos this weekend, and we'll see about doing any live streaming. And probably if it's not this Sunday, it'll definitely be next Sunday. We'll start doing our spotlighting shows because I got a whole bunch of material compiled. God, it'll take a long time. And I apologize about that, but I want to get back into doing that and keep the ball rolling with that. So anyways, my friends, I thank you for tuning in. Until next time, you stay safe, you stay true. Happy Thanksgiving. Rock on and God bless you guys. Take care now. Bye-bye.